Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another one of my long-awaited Mythic Mobs tutorials. So I got some exciting news before we get started. I'll leave a little timestamp below so that way you guys can skip the news if you choose. However, I would highly appreciate it if you didn't because it's going to be pretty intuitive later on, and I think you guys might like it. So, we can face the sunlight here. So pretty much what I got going on is I am starting up a new thing where I will be streaming and recording at the same time. So that way players can follow me in real time if they're working on a project. And if you are not able to do so, you will still be able to watch my videos via YouTube. So yeah, I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody. And it if anybody really knows me, you know I'm a designer and an animator in training. So there's, this gives me so much opportunity to both keep you guys informed and help you out with your questions, as well as practice my own area of expertise. It's a win for everybody. So if anybody is interested in future streams of mine, I will leave the my Twitch link in the description below for everybody to go and follow. It'd be much appreciated. Because in the future, I am going to gather other mob makers, and eventually we are going to do a live stream of pretty much like you ask us to make it, and we'll make it, or you challenge us to make it, and we'll make it. Same rules will apply. We're not going to recreate other abilities made by other people. However, I think it'd be really cool to just have a really interactive, Twitch stream where we can, kind of showcase what we can do firsthand in real time, and you guys can follow along if there's anything you want to see done, or just if you just want to have a good time and be like, hey, let's go create some like flying squid bombs or something, anything crazy like that, we'll do it. It'll be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the tutorial. So as you can see in the thumbnail, which I will hopefully have up by the time I put up this video, we are going to be working on a taunt mechanic, which is not exactly a mechanism that's already added, but rather one that we create ourselves. So what we need to do first is actually set up some mobs. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into our mob file. We're going to create a new file. So tauntmobs.yml. Okay, so now we need to set up our basic mob for testing. So we're going to do taunt mob aggro, type zombie display aggro. Okay, and then we're just going to type out a few basic options here, nothing different than any of my past tutorials. Silent, true, movement, speed 0.01. Let me fix that real quick. Okay. What else do I usually prevent sunburn? Very important. Don't want to light myself on fire, and I don't want them to die either. I could use husks, but I really don't want to deal with the hunger effect. That just gets kind of old. So, yeah, prevent other drops. True. Okay, so that's all we're doing for the options. Now here we're going to need to do two things that we do not normally do. The first one is going to be doing a thing called threat tables. So we're going to type in modules, threat table true. Now make sure that this is capitalized. This T for the word table needs to be capitalized. If it's like that, it will not work because that's how it was coded into the plugin. So make sure that's capitalized. Make sure it's set to true. And what is a threat table? Well, a threat table is a way for a mob to keep track of which player or entity it's going to target. Essentially, the more damage you do to a mob, the higher your threat level is going to rise. So say I do 10 damage to our zombie here, it is going to make it to where my threat level becomes 10 and I become who he targets because I am suddenly the highest on the threat table. It's a really easy thing to get used to. I highly recommend playing around with it as there's actually a lot you can do with threat tables, but we are not doing the tutorial on that specifically. So next we need to set up a target selector. So AI target selectors. We're going to do 0 clear first, and then 1 monster, and then 2 attacker. So basically this is going to make it target monsters before it targets us, as long as we don't attack it. So if we attack it while he's targeting something else, he will turn on us, specifically because we have threat table set to true and because we have ourselves listed as a target selector. If it was just monsters like that, then we would never be targeted and we would be okay. And that might ruin the effect of what this whole tutorial is about. So we're going to re-add that. And we're pretty much going to copy and paste this, because we're going to make a second version here. So we want to change him from aggro to passive. That way we know which one is not going to be doing anything. Here we can just remove the target selectors entirely. We don't need them for this guy. And that's actually about it. So we're going to go ahead and save and reload. And we're going to spawn in our passive one first. Taunt mob passive. I call him passive, but you'll still take damage if you're not in God mode and you spawn him in. Okay, so now we know he's targeting us. Pretty much assume this is just a normal, I guess realistically it is just a normal zombie. So assume this is just a normal zombie, that you find in Minecraft. Next we're going to spawn in the other one, this guy. So even though I'm in survival, you can see he's targeting him because our target selectors pretty much said target monsters before targeting anybody else. So if we were to attack him, yeah, no, he still wants him. No, there we go. Okay. So now that we actually did 1 full point of damage, we are suddenly the top of his hit list. Yikes. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually kill them both. And we are going to make a skill now. So let's go ahead and go into our skill file folder. So we're going to go to skills. We're going to make a new file. And we're going to call it tauntskill.yml. Of course, you can mix this with your other skill folders or files whenever you want, whenever you're done with it. However, we're always going to keep it organized for the sake of tutorials. So we need to actually split this into 2 parts. So we're going to name it taunt1 and taunt2. So taunt 1 is going to be what we as players use, so that way we can actually get the effect we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to do skills, and we're going to do pseudo skill here. So here is where we're going to type in skill equals taunt 2. And then we're going to add another thing here, CAT equals true. This stands for caster as trigger, which means whenever we do this skill, we are going to become the trigger. And I will show you in a moment. So we're going to do at EIR, R equals, this can be however big or small you want. I'm going to do 15 just to make it noticeable. Yeah, so next we're going to do this, skills. We're going to do threat, amount equals 500. If you have really heavy hitting items on your server, you can go higher than this. The amount that you can set is actually, I'm pretty sure, infinite. But, you know, there's no reason to go like super duper crazy high. But since I'm pretty much just using vanilla stuff, I'm going to stick to 500. Now here's going to be the important part. We need to do at trigger. So this correlates to this right here. Since we're the ones casting it, we are going to be the trigger for this ability, because that's who it's targeting. If they were doing at self, they would become their own trigger, and it wouldn't really make sense because you can't really target yourself. So caster as trigger equals true means us as players are going to cast this ability onto mobs, and they're going to target us because we became the trigger. So when you got that set up, go ahead and hit save. And if you're a Mythic Artifacts user like I am, we're going to need to do an extra step. If you're using, I think Crucible works the same. If you're using MMO items, you need to make sure to add that to your item. There's a different thing for it I have not made a tutorial on yet. I will in the future. However, if you're using artifacts like I am, make sure to stick with me here. So I'm going to go into a pre-made file that I already have. Of course, you can always make another one. I'm going to do a new one called Taunting Sword. ID. Iron Sword, display, Taunting Sword. Okay. We're not even going to worry about all the other stuff that comes with. We're just going to make sure we have the skill set up first. So we're going to do skill S equals taunt 1. Remember that we're using number 1 because that's the one that is going to pretty much send out the effect towards mobs. Now we're going to do at self on use. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, don't forget you can always add a cooldown to this if you don't want players constantly spamming it for every single mob that comes around. You can do like cooldown 10 for 10 seconds, 15, 20, so on and so forth. I'm going to keep it at 0 because I'm the only player on the server, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now that we have our item, we're going to go ahead and reload. And we're going to grab our item. So we're going to get MMI get Taunting Sword. Here it is. And then we're going to spawn in our mobs again. So MMM spawn taunt mob passive, taunt mob aggro. Okay, so he's going to start targeting him while he's targeting us. It's very important to pay attention to who we got going on here. I want to go ahead and let you guys know that if you are on an online server, you don't even need to have these AI target selectors for your hostile mobs, because by default they'll already target you. It's pretty much just a way so that way, like, say I had my alt account over there and the mob was targeting him, I can literally right click to taunt him and he would target me instead. So that's why I have this guy set up. So if I right click, oops, I guess there we go. Okay. And now you can see this guy started targeting me. Well, how do you know it worked and that wasn't just a random coincidence? Well, what we're going to do, we are going to add some special effects here. So we're going to do effect particles. We're going to do something really simple here. Particle equals flame, mount equals 50, yada yada. You pretty much know the gist of this if you've been watching my tutorials. Self, and then sound S equals, I guess, entity dot ghast dot shoot self. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and kill off this guy because we don't need him anymore. We're gonna reload after saving your file, and we're gonna spawn him in again. Spawn taunt mob aggro. Okay, so he's targeting him. And now to make sure our sword works, whoosh, there were my little fire effects as well as a little sound effect, and now he's targeting me. Now I have drawn his aggro, and they are both mad and ready to kill. Me, specifically. So, there's one last thing to show you guys. If you want this to apply to all mobs, not just custom ones, there's actually a really easy process for that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Mythic Mobs folder. We're going to go back to mobs, and now we're going to go to vanillamobs.yml. This is where your vanilla Minecraft mobs, no special effects or anything, are going to be set to. So as you can see, I already set it on Cave Spider and Wither Skeleton, but what you're going to do is if you want to add them all, just type like their Minecraft ID, and then we will just copy and paste the modules thread table into it. It's going to be hard to tell considering a lot of these mobs are already going to be aggroed as is. So what we're going to do, trying to think, I think it's like zombie piglin or something like that. Let me just, zombie piglin? No, I don't know. We're not going to worry about that then, I guess. So we're going to switch it to spider because by default they are passive, same with wolves. So now that we got those out of the way, we are going to copy and paste module threat table into all of them. And this is going to affect all vanilla mobs that spawn so long as their ID has the module's threat table true. So to prove it, we're going to reload. We're going to spawn in a spider first, because everybody knows during the day they're passive, they will not attack you. However, if you aggro them or hit them, they will. So if I use my ability, Yeah, he pissed. He wants some of the action. And he's going to attack me now. Alright. We saw it with a spider. Coincidence, right? So we're going to spawn in a wolf. We're going to do the same thing. See? And now I just taunted him and he wants to eat me alive. So that's pretty much how it works. As you can see, you literally just add it to all vanilla mob entries within the file, and it will affect everything. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, check out the link in the description because I will be having my Discord in there as well as my new Twitch channel for you guys to follow. You know, same as usual. If you like this video, make sure to leave a comment down below for something you would like to see next. Make sure to like, subscribe, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see what you come up with in the future.